right, go ahead. And
Cool.
please close your computer down.
Sorry?
Just talking to everybody else.
Oh, okay, cool. I think you know me. I'm Steve. If you don't, I'm Steve. Today we're going to talk about sneakers. First off, who here likes... Oh, no, it's not working for me. Great. There we go. Who likes Kanye West? Anybody hate Kanye West? You can let your boobs out now. You know, he's kind of showing you, do you like him this much, hate him this much? Let your boobs out now.
He sucks.
There we go. Hopefully, by the end of it, I can change your mind about how you think of him, what your image is on him, if you think he sucks. If I change that, great. If you don't, then he still sucks. So when we're talking about sneakers and shoes and all that, people often think that women are the ones who have just a ton of shoes in their closet, just like this. How many people would agree to that?
Yep. Say yes.
Most people would say
though.
that women are typically the ones who love shoes. And that whole scene has kind of changed over the last, I would say, 15 years or so. Basketball shoes have really become a huge part of lifestyle in the way that people are dressing, what shoes they're buying, you know, so many different factors about it. So I'll bring it back to the beginning of when basketball shoes started to become kind of a topic of interest. It was back in the early 20s that Converse started making the Chuck Taylor. Everybody knows what a Chuck Taylor is? Yeah, Ori knows. And Garrett. Basically what a Chuck Taylor is, it's basically a really heavy rubber sole with very thin canvas as an upper. And guys are playing basketball in it competitively. And to do that is pretty remarkable, being of how flimsy they were. You could basically turn your ankle like that. So they kind of started to build a landscape of basketball shoes for generations to come. And then other brands started to get into it a little bit. Nike, Adidas, Reebok, and Converse all started to make basketball shoes for guys in the NBA, recreationally, wherever people were playing basketball. These guys were making basketball shoes for them. You had guys like Charles Barkley, Larry Bird, Magic Johnson. Everybody know those guys?
Mm-hmm.
They were all wearing basketball shoes. Nothing really that was prominent for retailers to sell. You know, when you're a kid, you weren't really going out looking for a Charles Barkley shoe. You weren't really going out looking for what Larry Bird was wearing. A couple guys had it, but it wasn't until 1985. Anybody know this guy?
Mm-hmm.
Who's this guy? Michael Jordan.
That's huge to you.
He started, he came out of UNC, he signed a contract with Nike, and every year he got his own signature shoe. Every single year he played, he got his own signature shoe. But he wasn't the kind of guy who's to start out the sneaker culture and being that it was kind of cool. Anybody know these guys?
Yep.
Who's that?
Run DMC.
Run DMC, they were the guys who started to wearing Adidas tracksuits, which were really cool. If you had the Adidas track jacket, the sweatpants, and the Superstars, as well as Reebok, they came out with the pump. Everybody seen Ace Ventura, I think it was, where he's pumping up his pumps and he's running through the desert and they blow up. Or whatever. And Walt Frazier, he was wearing Puma Clydes. I don't know if you can read that. It says, "Can't fake the funk." So it's kind of like this funky time just to kind of get in that sneaker culture to kind of get you to buy those sneakers. But they didn't really kind of put an image to it. It wasn't until Jordan came into the league and he started putting out shoes every single year, which was 1 through 23. He was in the league for 15 years, so he wore 15 pairs of shoes over 15 years, which is pretty crazy. And these shoes kind of sat on the shelves at the time, from 1985 until, what's my math here? I'm not very good at math. 98, 2000, 2002, I don't know. When he retired, they kind of sat on shelves when they came out. Nobody was really going out to buy them, so it wasn't really a huge craze. And then people started talking about sneakers, started making magazines, talking about what guys were wearing, what they were wearing on certain occasions, if they were customizing their shoes, certain things like that. And it wasn't until It was about the year 2000 when Nike started retroing sneakers. So they basically took a shoe from 1985 and made it again to kind of re-retro it. So guys still really started to collecting them almost. It was basically like baseball cards. Guys would be going out, there's a phrase, it's called, you buy one to rock one, buy one to stock one. So you rock one, you stock one. You wear it on your feet, you wear it out of the store, and then you put another one in your closet and you just sit on it for about 10 years, however long you want. And that really started to create the value of shoes, which became really popular. So if you went out and you bought, say, $150 pair of shoes, in about 5 years, that pair of shoes, if you hadn't worn it, it was in your closet, it'd probably jump up to almost $500. So it was almost like an investment for some guys. So this started to create lineups. People would line up for days, hours, looking for sneakers. And as you can see, people would line up in New York City, Chicago, and all these big stores. You get hundreds, thousands of people out there trying to get these sneakers. So it's pretty crazy to think if you're standing outside, even on a day like today, for over 12 hours trying to get a pair of sneakers for $150. And that's not even the craziest part, is that where I come from, Saskatoon, I was working at a sneaker shop, and we had had guys wait out Christmas time in minus 40 weather.
Hardcore.
Minus 40 weather, waiting for a $150 pair of sneakers. So that's pretty crazy. A couple stories from lineups. One year, a coworker of mine, we just had a little barbecue in minus 40 weather. We took a little hibachi grill out there, fired up some burgers, and everybody had 10 a.m. burgers in the morning waiting for sneakers. So it's pretty crazy that guys will go through all this. And then it started to translate into other sports. So I'm sure Ori knows who this guy is.
Man, he was pitching with Air Jordans on the first day he pitched.
He was, and as you can see here, he's wearing Jordan 13s. That's a pair of Jordan 11s, and they're decked out to have cleats on the bottom for when you're playing baseball. You can grip a little bit better through the grass, dirt, all that. They also do it for football and a whole bunch of other sports as well. They make what are called PEs, or player editions, for these guys so that they are suitable for their sports. Then, if you want to look now, this is kind of the main brands in basketball sneakers right now. And you can kind of tell that Nike's kind of the biggest right now, and Adidas, Under Armour, and Reebok have kind of made their way into it a little bit. Now, these are the shoe sales share. So this is the percentage that they have in basketball shoes in the market today, which is absolutely crazy. And Under Armour just barely snuck into there because they have Steph Curry. They're making shoes for Steph Curry now. He's the MVP of the NBA last year, so he's kind of the flavor of the week. But Nike, they have guys like LeBron, Kobe, KD, and that's why they share 95% of all basketball shoe sales, which is pretty crazy to think about. And now I'm going to move into a little bit more of the lifestyle things. So a little bit more on the everyday side, not just the technical side of basketball shoes, playing for sport. There's a couple guys, Jeff Staple and Ronnie Fee. Jeff Staple is the Asian guy like me on top, and Ronnie Fee is the guy on the bottom. They're both out of New York, and they collaborated with different brands to make different sneakers, basically. Ronnie Fee, he worked with ASICS. It's still working with ASICS and collaborating different shoes. Some of his shoes can go up to $2,000, right around $1,000, and these are also $180 shoes. Jeff Staple, really cool story. I'll try and get this one quick. He released this shoe, which is basically a Nike Dunk. Everybody has seen a Nike Dunk before. And all it is, it's in a gray color with a pigeon on it. This shoe went crazy in New York, and they released, I think it was 200 pairs through New York and 30 at his store. So guys were riding in front of the store, and what they had to do is whoever bought a pair of sneakers couldn't leave out the front door because they would have gotten mugged or stabbed or shot. So what they did is, once you bought the sneakers, you went through the back door, they got a cab to the back of the store, and then you left that way. You couldn't leave through the front door.
Wow.
So that's really crazy on how things are really coming into play for sneakers. And for guys who didn't like Kanye West, he's still kind of mad about that. But it doesn't matter because he's Kanye and he's always happy. He started creating shoes for Nike, the Yeezy shoe, Air Yeezy. That shoe right there is probably worth about $5,000 if you were to go out and buy it right now. So he's starting to do a lot of crazy things. His new line with Adidas, and these guys are probably running about $1,000. This guy here is probably running about $4,000. So it's really crazy to see the perspective of how things are kind of transitioning into kind of a resale value and kind of this investment of sneakers. And lastly, these are a couple links of just crazy stories on the internet that you can find. If you want to read into them, let me know. But that's it.